Howdy, howdy, fellas. Got a World of Warships Legends match today in the Asturias. This is the Tier 6 Spanish cruiser. Grinding through these guys. I just made my Baleares video. I just got distracted by like the others. There's like always so much stuff I want to talk about that, I just forgot. But hold that thought, because here comes my build. So this is the same build I'm running on the Baleares. Burn down the battleships. I finished the Asturias today. This is how I did. I lost the last 5 matches that I played in it. Thanks, team. I like this line. I like this line with this build. We'll see how the higher tiers treat me. My intention is ingenious, and then second row, I'm not sure yet, but I see that as you go up the line, those rudder shifts start to creep up, the turret traverse starts to creep up. Like, is it worth the fire chance to sacrifice some of those other skills like maneuverability, handleability, things like that? We'll see. But I got, this thing was at like 91% win rate. I was feeling pretty good about myself, but I lost last 5. And again, like, if you haven't played 100 matches in a ship, even then, like my perfect 10 was like struggling to get over 60 with like almost 2400 average XP. I mean, that's good performance. I don't care who you are. Like, I'm playing that ship pretty well. And I was still the teams were, so like, if the numbers aren't big enough, there's only so much you can say about how well a ship is performing for any given person or any given build. But I was really excited to put like, oh my god, I got like a 90% win rate in this thing, and then reality's like, no, you're gonna lose a bunch of matches, you jerks. So I lost a bunch of matches. But it's still pretty good, 70. So like, yeah, I'm not upset with it. And as is always it's not the only thing for me, but more important than like, sweatiest, try-hardiest, win rates, XP, damage, any of that stuff. Like, I like the stats. I think they're informative. I look at them to try to see like how am I actually doing in a ship. Does my perception match the reality? Things like that. I like to look at them and use them to try to make informed decisions. But still, ultimately, this is a game. I want this stuff to be fun, and so I definitely make build choices that are for fun, while not necessarily being the absolute, like, what I would consider the most optimal to win, if that makes sense. But I also need them to be competitive. So, I've said that before. I'm rambling a little bit. My point about this line thus far is I actually really like it. I like this line. It reminds me of... They play somewhat like the super cruisers that I've tended to enjoy in the past, but in some ways they're more consistent because they have, the cruiser caliber guns, and rather than being less accurate, as a lot of the super cruisers are, they're actually more accurate than average. They have, normal cruiser stuff, but higher than average Sigma. And so instead of having larger caliber guns to hit one big salvo, they get the double salvo with a comparable, 20 seconds-ish reload, 30 seconds if you go with the third salvo. Like, you start to look kind of like a super cruiser. And I forgot in the Baleares. I'm such a nitwit. The Baleares reminds me of playing the Graf Spee, but more consistent because of all those things. Like, you have that knockout punch for the cruisers, but it's actually more consistent because it's more accurate, and you get 16 shells on target for that amount of damage rather than 6. So, like, yeah. Another thing that I've enjoyed about this mechanic for these lower tiers, we'll see how it holds up at the higher tiers, is I've found the cadence of the salvos extremely favorable for setting fires on battleships. You get to a position, you got HE loaded, you got a battleship running in, you shoot 16 2 or 3 shells at it. With my build, you drop spot in about 12 seconds. Odds are good that you're going to set at least one fire. This build has about a 20% fire chance. I think most of the ships have like a 15-16% stock fire chance. So regardless of your fire skills, you're likely to set a fire in that salvo. 20 seconds later, if you set one fire, you can just like let it burn. If you set two, their odds are good they'll damage control party. 20 seconds later, about the time the damage control party goes off, you got another salvo ready to set that nearly guaranteed fire again. And so I found that, like, you know, it's a cadence. It's like it is. So like on this Nebraska, it's like ka-chunk, ka-chunk, set a fire. He DCPs. Wait. Drop spot, move to a different spot, do whatever I gotta do, find my angle, ka-chunk, ka-chunk, set another fire or two. And that, through both the tier 5 and tier 6, has been a very consistent feeling that I've had through playing the ships that I really like. And that's actually one of the things that I miss playing the Italian ships. You know, you get that like whack with the sap, but then it's like, okay, you gotta keep doing it. You gotta keep doing it, and that's an issue that I run into as a solo player playing against battleships. Like, you guys know how these matches go. You don't have the spotting. You don't have the other, like, your team somehow healing the enemy team. Like, where's the damage? You know, we know how it is. With the Italian cruisers, I'm like, I gotta keep firing. Like, I'm spotted and I'm firing, and I'm spotted and I'm firing. With these, I found it much more comfortable. Set those fires and just fade away when you want to. One of the reasons I'm running the Ghost build, I do wish the concealment was a little better on these. You know, even I think my Amalfi is like 10-8 with rudder. And this is 11-5 with concealment. So, you know, to Wargaming's credit, I think these ships came in surprisingly well balanced. You know, we'll see how well it holds up over time. But they definitely have drawbacks to make up for some of their strengths, but they still feel quite strong. So, all that being said, I'm trying to like play this match. Our team's falling apart at C over there. Yeah, they've fallen apart at C. Burn down the Amono. Try to get the Nebraska. We had two Massachusetts over here at B. One went in. It's like maybe a little aggressive, but he's Massachusetts. He wants secondary range. Like, I get that. The other one was just kind of like hanging back behind the islands, and I'm like, oh, dude, like, you really need you to go in. Both of you in there being a threat is going to help both of you survive. You'll both put out more damage. You'll both survive more because they have to split their targets. They're going to get distracted like, I needed to be in there. You're just kind of hovering behind the island. Team fell apart at sea. I'm not over there. I don't know what happened. We're trying to mop up. This hood doesn't look like he's done anything, but our carrier is struggling with a destroyer. There's a split second right around here that it's like, oh man, if that had gone a little bit different, maybe things end up different. But you can see we're also setting the fires on this hood. Like, there's the two fires again. He DCP'd the other one's. Like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And that's, you know, over and over, that's a thing I've found with this line. With the two shots with refuel station, you get just that little extra range, and it's really good at taking out battleships. I feel like the 3-shot, you know, that's cruiser hunting, which is a lot of fun. I can't deny that. I love depth striking cruisers, but we all play the same game. How many cruiser heavy matches do you play? They're there, but they're not that common. So maybe I missed it while I was talking. Oh, good whack on the Suzuya. Oh yeah, and look, maybe that's one where the 3 salvos takes out that Suzuya, and like, he's just off the board. So I 100% understand the value in the 3-shot. Just in my experience, I don't know. Tier 5 and 6, I'm happy with the 2-shot with refill station. I think I missed it while I was yammering that the Akatsuki down at D was spotted for like a split second, but I couldn't get a shot on it. Here, I'm trying to cap B. Why are our ships down at D? they're not going to catch that destroyer. And again, this is to my point of like the win more versus bad players versus trying to win versus good players. If that Akatsuki gets spotted at D by 2 ships, like, he's going down anyway. Like, they don't both need to be there. And here, yet, like, come. This is why carriers are annoying, is because he is just resetting me. We do manage to spot him, but oh man, the Harlem's right there. Yay! So I am 10k. Let's see, I drop spot on him. Man, I'm getting some good wax on it, but it's just not quite enough. You know, I don't love playing bottom tier. It can be frustrating. I found it more palatable in this ship again. Oh, also, one of the things, just to point out, the ship has a heal, which is great for a tier 6. I love it. I wish they would go back and give a lot of the cruisers a heal. I actually think that would go a long way. If you get death struck, it doesn't matter. But just like that incremental chip damage that you take throughout a match, a heal on some of the lower tier cruisers, you might have more cruisers in games. I don't know. Just something to think about. This has a heal, has decent armor. It's very thin and narrow. Rudder's not amazing, but it's good overall. The carrier, I thought he was going to angle, but then maybe actually he is continuing to turn. I'm assuming he has just autopiloted it. So actually, if I had kept AP, like, maybe I could have gotten the other shot off there. I don't know. This is right here is just like agony as I'm trying to bring this match to a close. Bombs from, I'm not sure if it's the Harlem or the carrier, knock my engine. You know, I'm coming in on a torp run on him. I managed to get the carrier. If my engine isn't knocked right here, I think I can clutch this game. The Suzuya is broadside right there. He's got to turn out. This ship is relatively fast. I am either, you know, like as fast or maybe even a smidge faster than a Suzuya depending on his build. I think I could catch him if my engine isn't knocked right there. I think I take less damage from the Harlem. Like, there's so many things that engine knock is so tragic for this batch. I don't know if it changes it because we're at a 200 point deficit. Cruisers are less than 100, but yeah. Looking back at this and thinking through that, this is a loss anyway. But yeah, as this is a little bit slower at the end, so I'll take a minute to kind of talk about my overall thoughts on the line. I've really enjoyed it so far. I've heard that the tier 7 isn't amazing, but also of how I saw other people play the tier 6, I was like, ooh, the tier 6 probably isn't that good, like maybe I'll just play through it. I've loved the tier 6. I think it's got good firing angles. Like I said, it's very narrow. The rudder on all of these isn't amazing, but it's good enough, fast enough. Yeah, and if you put on the full speed ahead skill, that'll be good. Here, you know, the range holding me back, definitely a drawback of the line. Just no access to that range skill. What else? Decent enough armor. I think there are mostly more or less Italian hulls, so if you've played through the Italian line and you're familiar with those, if you're angled, you can often get away with stuff, but sometimes you get trolled. I was playing the Catalunya today and got a bunch of just like really troll citadels. A red Catalunya citadeled me through the stern. Like, I couldn't even find the hole where it came in, so I'm not actually even sure what he hit. Just a couple of nonsense things like that. That's going to happen, but that'll happen with any ship. Yeah, fast, and the burst mechanic, I enjoy. I know a lot of people were upset about it from the PC version, but I really intentionally don't compare this to the PC version because it's like, it's a different game. There's enough difference. Like that, I think that's just a losing comparison. Because you're probably always going to find something to be disappointed in if you look for it. So, like, I just stay away. But in the end, this game is a loss. I'm disappointed. 187,000 at tier 6, and this would have been a almost 4,200 XP game. But I played it really well, and I do enjoy the ship. So this is the one you're getting. I was missing that like linchpin Asturias game before I finished off the ship to get the tier 7. So this is it. This is probably the best match that I played. I do really like the ship. even if we didn't pick up the W here. GG.